Hi, if you're new here, my name is Coach Rose Peterson. I'm a certified personal trainer, both in person and online, and a certified nutrition coach. I help moms locally in Las Vegas, Nevada, and all over the world shed the weight holding them back from becoming their most energetic and authentic version of themselves so they can go after their deepest desires alongside of motherhood. You can find me at fitandconfidentmoms.com.
I truly believe that eating the food you love every single day is the only way to achieve lasting weight loss success. And what I mean by that is, like, everybody knows how to lose weight, right? We eat less than we burn. We might have to eat less. We might have to exercise more. We have to create a calorie deficit. But how do you keep that off? That is the key. How do you keep the weight that you lost without it gaining all back when you start to eat your normal foods? And that's what I'm going to share today, is all about flexible dieting. And also want to explain to you how your metabolism is flexible, because sometimes I come across people that really truly believe that they're doing everything they can and their metabolism is just stuck. That is just not doing the things that it did, 20 years ago, which is true. Your hormones and your metabolism does change as you get older. So we have to tweak that strategy. However, the principles I'm going to share with you are universal. I've used this with 25-year-old clients. I've used it with 60, 65-year-old clients. Okay. My oldest client I've ever worked with was in her 80s. My oldest weight loss client was in her 70s, because she still had life to live and she wanted to live healthier and she wanted to get off medications and she wanted to get her body fat percent down. Some of you might be thinking like, wow, at 70 years old, someone still wants to lose weight. Yeah, they want to be in the best shape of their life for the time they have left, right? They don't want to just like fade away. They want to be their most energetic selves as they can, even in their 70s. Okay. So today's topic is on flexible dieting and how do we ignite your metabolism so that your metabolism is flexible. The beginning is we're going to talk about how weight loss works. And the mistake I see that some people believe is, I have to start this low carb diet. I have to start keto. I have to start Weight Watchers. I have to start intermittent fasting. That's pretty popular for my age group. This is what I have to do, and it helps me lose weight. That's true. Any of those methods are going to help you lose weight. But that's the thing, is the method is a way that it's going to help you eat less carbs than your body burns. Less calories than your body burns. They all work the same way. So intermittent fasting, that just shrinks the window of time that you're eating. Okay, cutting carbs, that takes out a whole bunch of calories from your day, right? Because you're taking out whole food groups. So in that sense, you are going to eat less than your body's burning. So weight loss only works one way. We have to understand that that's how that works. Okay, so let's talk about your metabolism. Okay, so your basal metabolic rate. So everybody has one. This is what your body, the number of calories your body needs to sustain life. Okay, so if you're laying in bed doing nothing all day long, this is how many calories you need to sustain life. Now, your resting metabolic rate, this is the number of calories that your body actually burns while it's at rest. And this is resting like as if you're not doing much. Okay, maybe you're moving around, doing some dishes, and then you might work in an office, or you might work from home and you sit a lot. So we're not exerting ourselves a lot. It's like almost like if you're sedentary, this is kind of like your resting metabolic rate. And this is how much your body burns. So now this is not like we're in bed, doing nothing to sustain life. This is just like you're not exerting yourself. And this is, just doing a little bit. Okay. And so it's going to be a little bit more calories than your basal metabolic rate, right? We're not laying in bed comatose. So it's going to be a little bit more calories. But the cool thing is that we can actually increase our resting metabolic rate. So we can actually increase our metabolism doing barely nothing, maybe sitting at our desk, working at our desk, like watching TV. So our metabolic rate at rest, we can increase that number by lifting weights, by doing spending time in the gym, doing things that really matter for us, which is lifting or building muscle so that we can increase our metabolism. And building muscle has a whole host of health benefits, right? It can help our hormones, it helps us live longer, protects our bones. So lifting weights has a number of benefits. But today I just want to say that by lifting weights and increasing our muscle mass, we're also increasing our metabolism. Okay. So we're increasing our metabolism at rest, which is pretty cool. Okay. So your total daily expenditure, which is short for TDEE. This is how many calories we burn at rest. And this is plus while we're exercising, while we're doing our day-to-day things, while we're maybe getting our steps in. Your TDEE is everything you do in a day. Okay. And so when we start a diet of some kind, we are eating less than what our TDD is. TDEE, right, is. Okay. So that is how dieting works. So for me, I teach my clients flexible dieting because I want to show you how you can still eat the foods you love, sort of like a budget, and still lose weight. But it needs to be a combination of foods in that calorie so that we can get you the best result. For example, if let's just say theoretically your calorie deficit is 2,000 calories, you can, well, let's say your TDE is 2,500. You burn 2,500 calories a day, but you're eating 2,000. Okay, you can eat 2,000 calories of, one McDonald's meal in the morning, and then maybe 2 normal meals during the day. Okay, so you can do that and still lose weight. That's how that works. But we want to make sure that we're losing fat, right? We're not just losing anything. We don't want to lose our muscle tissue because that's what's helping us become more metabolic. That's what's helping us keep our metabolism high, and also all kinds of things, right? Keeps our hormones happy, everything. So we don't want to lose muscle if we don't have to. Okay. And in order for us to not lose muscle, we have to have two things. We have to eat an adequate enough of protein in that 2,000 calorie deficit that we decided we're going to eat 2,000 calories. We want to have adequate protein, and we want to strength train so we can signal to the body that we are still building muscle. Okay. Explain something called the law of thermodynamics. Now, the law of thermodynamics is really the science behind weight loss, right? Like your body, if you eat less than your body burns, then your body is going to look for that energy elsewhere. So if we're burning 2,500 calories, but we're only eating 2,000, your body wants balance, which is the law of thermodynamics. They want to look for energy balance. So they're going to take that energy from somewhere. So they're going to take that energy from a combination of stored fat or muscle, right? But we don't want to lose muscle. So we want to make sure the combination of our foods protect our muscle. But either way, the body's going to find those 500 calories. They're going to find them somehow to get energy. And that is how we lose fat, because your body's going to tap into stored fat for energy to make up the rest of that 500 that you're not feeding it. That your metabolism is flexible. Tell me more. All right, hang out. We can use the power of metabolic flexibility to increase our metabolism. There is no such thing as your metabolism breaking or your metabolism being stuck. We actually have tools, and my clients that work with me that are working to lose weight, and the clients that work with me are, they have at least 20 pounds to lose. We do not stay in a deficit for long periods of time. We only do our calorie deficit in cycles. And so now, I'm spilling the secrets now. So we only do it in cycles. And we do that for a reason. We do that to keep our metabolism healthy and keep our metabolism flexible, to work for us, not against us. Okay. So a lot of clients that come to me, they're ready to either experience a body recomposition, meaning they want to lose a little bit of fat while gaining some muscle at the same time. So we're recomping, we're replacing, we're adding muscle while losing fat. Or they want to do lots of fat loss. Like, and we always, no matter what, we're going to strength train and put muscle on your body so that we can protect your muscle. But some people's fat loss goals are bigger than others. So usually what we'll do is we'll start at a fat loss phase where we're going to be in a calorie deficit. Depending on, each client is different. It could be 8 to 12 weeks. The average is about 12 weeks. And we're on a mission to lose weight during that time while protecting muscle mass. And then after that 12 weeks, we're going to pause so that we can recover our metabolism. So our metabolism isn't always like having to find fat for energy. And, this is how we keep your metabolism flexible. Okay. So I'm going to hang with me because I'm going to explain. Okay. So we'll pause and then we'll eat to maintenance. So let's say that you start at 200 pounds, we've lost 20 pounds, now you're at 180. Now that we're at 180, we're actually going to give you some calories back at the pause to maintain that 180-pound weight loss so we could signal to the body that we're no longer in weight loss mode. And we want to do weight loss in cycles because it's it keeps your metabolism happy, and it's also good for you mentally to not be on weight loss mode all the time. Okay. And this is what a lot of the influencers, bodybuilders, they don't tell you that when they are, let's say, dieting or contest prep, or working towards a specific goal, they're not eating like that year round. They are not. They're eating like that in a cycle to achieve a specific goal. And then they go back to either eating maintenance if maintaining is their goal, or they may eat in a bulk if they're really trying to accelerate muscle gain. Okay. So we're not meant to be in a quote unquote diet or in a deficit for the rest of our lives. And I think this is the missing puzzle piece that a lot of people don't know, is that there is a formula to maintaining your weight, and that you should actually pause and maintain your weight. And then after a certain amount of time, which for some clients could be 4 weeks, some clients could be longer, some clients could be 2 weeks, then they'll go back to their next weight loss phase. And that is how we keep our metabolism flexible. So if you think about your metabolism as a fire, right? And we have this fire, and we are in this calorie deficit. Over time, the longer you're on that calorie deficit, over time, that fire will get smaller and smaller. It never goes out, but it could be smaller and smaller. And the reason being is your body is super smart, and it knows that, all right, Rose is still in this calorie deficit. It is week 10. I am going to slow down my bodily processes to match the calories it's giving me. So there might be some things that you don't notice, like maybe you're sitting a little often. Maybe instead of getting up to grab the remote to change the channel, you ask one of your children or your partner, hey, can you grab me that remote? Or can you hand me that? Instead of doing extra chores in the afternoon, you might chill in the afternoon. So there's subtle little ways that your body will slow you down to match your intake. Okay. And we don't want that to keep happening, because eventually you're going to feel like you have no energy for anything, right? Eventually, if we're on a diet long enough, for a long period of time, we're going to feel like we have no energy. We're going to feel grouchy. It doesn't mean that you'll stop losing weight. You'll stop moving. Okay. And so this is kind of where, I didn't want to go this deep, but this is where we see some people having a weight loss plateau, is that they slowly stop moving because they're eating less and less, and they don't have this energy to keep going. And then they'll be like, what's happening? I'm eating the calories I thought I was supposed to eat. Nothing's happening. Things are changing. And what's happening is their activity level is now matched what they are eating, whether that's like hormonal processes, they might have slowed down too. You're not moving as much, you're tired. So now your body, your TDEE, your total daily expenditure, is matched what you're eating over time. And so people are like, I'm stuck, nothing's happening, I'm doing everything the same, I'm eating what I'm supposed to, and I'm not losing weight. And that's this concept, okay? So now if we are stuck, we have to change something. Either we have to change the way we eat, maybe we have to add in more purposeful movement. Okay. And this is how I coach my clients through it so that they have guidance. So they're not like frustrated and stuck and you give up and then you eat the way you did before and gain it all back. Right. So having a coach walk you through, okay, maybe it sounds like this is a good time to be in maintenance, to maintain your weight. And so what we'll do is we'll give a little bit more food back to equal the amount of calories they need to sustain their new weight. So what happens when you add a log back to the fire that is small? It gets bigger, right? And so imagine that we throw a log back in the fire and then the fire gets bigger and then we're going to maintain that fire by constantly feeding it, right? Constantly feeding it. But we don't want to overeat and then end up gaining our weight back. We want to have just enough to maintain the weight. So then let's say you're in your maintenance phase for about 8 to 12 weeks. Now you might say you could be less. It depends on what your goal is, what we're trying to achieve. Do we have summertime goals that we're looking at? Maybe our maintenance is going to be shorter. Is it more of a competition that you're getting ready for in August? Everybody's goals are a little bit different. So then we'll say, okay, now we're pause is done. We're going to go back to a deficit. But here's the cool thing is that now if we've been spending time putting on muscle, your deficit may actually be a little bit more than your last deficit. You might actually get more food. So this is where it helps to take your power back and create your own deficit to figure out how much food do you need to eat less of to lose weight. I mean, and the reason I believe you should eat the food you love every single day is because if you, and maybe I was here, okay, but there is a high likelihood that if you restrict for long periods of time without including the foods you love, like I've talked to women that are like, oh, I can't have bread anymore. I'm not allowed to have bread. I'm swearing off all sweets. I can't have ice cream. As soon as your 30-day plan or 6-week plan is over, what do you think you're going to do next? You're probably going to eat all the food you love as soon as your plan is over in one day. Okay. So, and this has nothing to do with like there's something wrong with you, you're a bad person. It's this more psychological, right? So we white knuckled our way through that 30-day plan. We white knuckled our way through that 6-week, 8-week plan. And now that we're allowed to have it again, we end up binging. And if you guys have been following me for a while, this is exactly what happened to me when I followed Atkins, which today is known as keto, for my wedding. And I did it I believe I did it for 30 or 45 days. And as soon as I hit the reception table, I didn't eat the steak dinner. You know what I went for? The freaking bread basket. I was like, hand me the bread basket. And I had a dinner of bread basket because I didn't allow myself to have bread for over a month. But that is the first thing I wanted as soon as my plan was done. Okay. So I believe you should include the foods you love every single day, and that will actually help you stick to your goal. That's why I truly believe that you should include the foods you love. And when you use flexible dieting, you're able to do that. Okay. And that is how I'm able to have donuts with my kids. This is how I'm able to always be the girlfriend who orders dessert when we go out to dinner. I'm that one. And I won't share. I'm sorry. I just won't. That is how I'm able to do that, is because I understand and I've practiced flexible dieting to be able to include those foods that I love. And I believe it's essential. I believe is essential. The people that are eating like 100% clean and they don't allow them to have this, they don't allow themselves that. I promise you, well, no, let me take promises back. But let me tell you that they probably struggle with binging. it might not be an everyday struggle, but it could be, on a Friday night, all of a sudden this thing that they're alone, they're watching Netflix, and this thing that they forbid themselves to have the entire week, now they're unable to control themselves to have just one portion. They're eating the entire bag of Flamin' Hot Cheetos because they were so overly restrictive for weeks. And your willpower can only take you so far. Okay. I do believe willpower is like a bucket. And once you empty that bucket, it is gone. So I always teach methods that do not rely on willpower. I teach you how you include your favorite foods and still reach your goals.